Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the Faith and Fandom podcast on the Love Thy Nerd podcast network, where you can find interviews from people that touch the geek culture and the faith culture in different ways. I'm here today with Rebecca Godlove, and we're going to be talking about a lot of different stuff. But before we jump in, you can find other episodes of this podcast on the Love Thy Nerd podcast network or on YouTube. That's specifically set aside for this one, and just there's lots of other podcast options, from wrestling to theater to different stuff that's involved in the community. So make sure that if you are looking for different podcasts, you check out all that's offered on the Love Thy Nerd podcast network. But I'm excited I get to talk to my friend Rebecca today, and we can talk all the time, but it's just like life be life, and
Yeah.
you're one of the busiest people I know outside of like anybody else, and
And yet I don't get anything done ever. So,
Rebecca, tell the people who you are.
okay. My name is Rebecca Godlove. Um, I have been asked on numerous occasions if my name is real because I am a Christian and Godlove is just too convenient. I actually did think that my husband was making his name up to flirt with me. Because he knew I was like a good church girl. No, it is real. It is from the German Gottlieb, and it was translated when his family came over to America in the 1770s. So that is my real for real name.
I have a
And
missionary friend whose last name is Goforth.
are you kidding me? That is so cool.
No,
Actually, our secretary here, her last name is Cross. I'm like, y'all are hiring us on purpose, aren't you? It's just for our
this is
name.
gonna look good on baseball jerseys for the church baseball team.
That's a great idea. I'm going to look into that. Yeah. So I am a mom. I am a wife. I am a writer. I am a shameless cat lady. We have 4 rescues currently, and I
Are the
have
cats shameless, or are you shameless for being a cat lady?
okay, a little bit of both. Their names. All right. My cats are named For, Kylo Ren, Prince Zelda May Peach, because our kids could not decide on which princess they wanted, so they took both. And our youngest is Prince Zuko. Yes, Avatar Zuko. Bunny Pants Baggins Hamilton the Third. That is his government name, but we call him Zucchini. So yes, I'm shameless and the cats are shameless. We will not be getting any more rescue cats because I will have one less husband if that's the case. So 4 is our limit. For being honest, 2 is our limit. I have 2 young sons, and I am the artistic director at a small fine arts school here just outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it's called Impact School of the Arts. And what is interesting is, although it is associated with the church sort of building that it's in, it is its own separate project. Like we fund ourselves, we kind of do our own thing. Obviously, our missions, our goals, everything related to that is the same as the church, but we function independently, which is pretty cool. And the whole reason I'm here was a coincidence. So, and actually, just over a year ago, my husband and I made a really, really hard decision. We chose to leave the church that I grew up in. It was my home church for, well over 20 years, probably 25 years since I got baptized. And the reason we left, the main reason was our needs as a family were just changing. Our oldest was diagnosed neurodivergent. I have been diagnosed neurodivergent. And it's a very small church. It just didn't have the resources that our family needs right now. So, like, it wasn't a personality thing. It wasn't a doctrine thing. It wasn't nothing like that. It was just our family had different needs. And so the church we are currently at, which is Impact Christian Church in Moon, we're actually like 2 minutes from the airport. It's really cool. We are in the former Isoplex. So it is actually this huge building. It's a community center. And during the week, that's what it functions as. There's a room for our offices, but we host birthday parties. We host sports teams. We host something called Free Play, which is really cool. It is our gift to the community. All the parents have to do is register, and they come in here and they can just use our turf, use our scooters. We have soccer balls. And as long as they have a guardian with them, they could just play. And there's no cost to the community. And I love, love, love that, because one of the most important things to my husband and myself was community. We have a huge Brazilian population in Pittsburgh, which I didn't even know about until he came out here. Apparently, the population of Pittsburgh has been steady since like 2020, but our Hispanic and Latino population has risen by something like 80%, and it's all here in Moon. We actually have a simulcast in Portuguese of one of our morning services on Sunday. And so it's a huge deal. Like if there's anyone that understands community, it is those Brazilian ladies that come every week and they bring all their food, and I want them to adopt me. Because they're amazing, and I have attempted to learn Portuguese, which was a big mistake because I'm also trying to learn Spanish, and
yeah, that can be kind of
hard.
Crossing streams. Yeah,
really hard.
Just on the thing with the community center, like I did ministry at a church for a while, and they built $1.5 million community center, but then didn't allow anybody from the community to use it. And I'm just like, what are we doing?
Like that is the definition of the like we for and no more bless me club. That as a Christian that hurts my tummy. That makes me feel sick. That's I'm so grateful that's not the case here. 3 years ago they had a small dance studio created from scratch. Every major area in this building was previously like an actual rink of some kind. Like there's a second floor we haven't even renovated yet. It's like the entire skate park is upstairs. There's one hallway that still has like all the original graffiti from like when it was cool and like a skate park. And I don't want them to take that down. I want to see if we can like somehow preserve that because it's just really cool.
I love that there's a skate park in your like building.
Right? Like I know.
Do people skate it all there?
What's that?
Do people skate it all in there?
No, it's unfortunately because of the nature of this building, because it's a church building, I think we have to have handicap access, which that totally makes sense to me. And we do not have a working elevator right now. So technically the public cannot go upstairs and do anything until we get that elevator up and running. And that is an extremely large cost. So that's something that is on the agenda, but not an immediate need. But I will go upstairs and take pictures for you and see if I can still see all of the cool skate things up there.
I would just want to, I would have a longboard in my office and just be like boot scooting boogie every day.
I know. Like I said, the hardcore-ist that we get here is the little kids on their scooters with the helmets. And that speed of life is okay for me right now.
Yeah.
I've almost been mowed down by them several times. But we love it though. Like that's the whole purpose. It does get loud. It does get crazy. It gets chaotic and uncoordinated, but that's life and that's kids and that's people and that's real. And I love that. I love seeing an unsanitized version of life. We also have this beautiful ministry. It's actually a missional business here. And there's an Air Force mom who has 3 gorgeous children of her own. And she has a heart for neurodivergent kids. None of her kids are diagnosed, but she really feels for this community. And so she actually has a business. It's called Little Flyers Clubhouse. And she rents one of the rooms, one of the large classrooms we have here. And 3 days a week, she has, for a very, very fair fee, she has this gorgeous sensory room that she updates every week. They have a different theme every week. And they've got a building area. They have books. They have like a sensory swing. They have the, the sensory box, like the kinetic sand, like all this stuff she provides like at her own cost. And these families can come in with their littles and they can be safe and be completely free to be themselves. And they can be as loud as they want. And they can be as messy as they want. And it is celebrated. And her name's Shannon. And we've gotten pretty close in the time that I've been here. And she and I are going to be working on a neurodivergent curriculum for the school, which I'll talk about more in just 1 minute. But this school, like I said, it's been here 3 years in the building. And when I first heard about Impact Church, I did hear about the school and I was like, oh, maybe I can teach there. Like, how cool would that be? And at the time I reached out to Alicia. She is the founding mother and she was the artistic director. This was last year. And she said, we don't really have a need for teachers, but like, I definitely want to keep you in the loop. And then when she went on maternity leave last December, I kind of got plopped I was given a headset, like a cool actual head, like a real headset. And they're like, yeah, you can help like run the Christmas show. And I was like, you have a backstage and you have wings. Like, I'm not used to this in my church environment. Like, we had a platform. Okay. We had a platform and an outdated sound system, and they did everything they could. And these people, God bless them, but you can only work with so much with when acoustics are in, like this old Presbyterian church. So I get up there and I'm, watching all these little girls in their tutus and their buns running around. And it was so cool. It was so cool. And then earlier this year, I got a call from Alicia, and she said, hey, there's an opportunity coming up. And I thought, oh, maybe she needs an acting teacher. Like, that is so cool. I'd love to do that. Nope. Turns out she was moving. She and her family were moving back to York, PA, which is where she's from. And it was for, a job opportunity for her husband. And it was something they couldn't turn down. And
I almost went to a Comic-Con there.
Really?
I was going to be a guest, and then they shut the whole show down. So,
was that a COVID thing, or was it just like a thing?
A thing. Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
I only know like 3 places in Pennsylvania, and that's one of them. But
yeah, Sight and Sound Theater, baby. That's out that way. That Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, right? That's what you know. Or do you know Scranton? You know Scranton.
Scranton. I was like, yeah.
Scranton, and Altoona, because it's funny to say.
No, I didn't. Never knew that one.
Okay, Altoona it's just fun to say. That's really, and that's where Sheetz is from. Sheetz, I guess, like it's like the Wawa of the East. That's where it comes from, I think.
Okay.
So anyway, she's like, you're the first person that I thought of. And long story short, I was very hesitant. I was hugely honored that she considered me for this position. It is essentially, it's my dream job, but I was very scared because I did not want to be burnt out. And having just experienced some burnout, like my husband has a really high stress job. And at the time, his dad was essentially dying from Parkinson's. And someone's coming in. Hold on. Hello. Hi, Deb. What's up?
I'm seeing if there's anybody in here.
It's just me.
Anything for me to do?
Oh my God, Deb.
Yeah.
I have nothing for you to do. I'm on a come meet my friend Pastor Hector. Come here, Pastor Hector. This is Deb.
Hi, Deb.
Howdy. She is one of our newest cafe attendants.
Yep.
And she's gonna learn how to make really good coffee. You are.
I hope.
You are.
I keep reviewing.
Yes, and she cannot sit still. She has to do things. So she came in here and asked me if I were like, no, I have nothing for you. I'm so sorry. Okay. If you want to go like pick up my kids from school or something, sure. But like here in this building, I have nothing
stay.
for you to do. No, I don't. But thank you for asking.
Hey, there's
Deb.
a pair of black pants that were left on that little table. Is that for me?
Pants?
Yeah.
No, those aren't mine.
Okay. That's fine.
All right. Good luck.
Well, if you do, yeah.
I will, Deb. God bless you. She's hysterical. Okay. We were looking through, like, one of her jobs is to maintain the lost and found. And she came into the cafe yesterday with a little coin purse, and she's like, guess how much is in here? I'm like, the 3 of us, it was 3 ladies, like, 2 ladies and myself. And we're like, what? It's a change purse. There's change in the right. She's like, mm-mm. We're like, oh, is it bills? Like, is there bills in there? And she's like, yeah, guess how much? And we're like 20. She's like, mm-mm. We're like 50. She's like, yep, I'll split it with you. There were just coins in there. She lied to us, but she got us so good. I'm like, woman, I need you on the stage. I'm like, you can sweep whatever. I don't care. You can be a janitor, but even Dick Van Dyke. Okay. He was a chimney sweep, right?
Right.
And look where he is today. And she got us so good. And I didn't expect it from her. I did not. She's wonderful. I love her. She's brand new and she's just a lovely person. She's a lot of fun. I don't know where I was though, because my train of thought is now gone.
Your husband,
burnout?
Your father-in-law was,
So yeah, essentially he was dying from Parkinson's, and, my mother-in-law was under a huge amount of pressure to care for him because she insisted on caring for him herself, which I understand, but it wasn't the best for her. And all this stuff was going on. And I'm like, so I'm going to take on a job where I'm working at a church. Okay. So after 4 interviews, I still they wanted me. They knew they wanted me. Thank God. I didn't know if I was going to say yes. The last time they called me in, I was just like, yeah, I want the job. Like it was a leap of faith for me because I really didn't know if I was going to be happy. And I know ultimately that's not our lives are not solely to be happy. but I didn't want to bring my family into another situation where we were all experiencing stress and just being overwhelmed
You
all
don't
the
need
time.
to add to a lack of quality of life. So
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And in fact, it has been a culmination of a great deal of my life training. I do get to work with students, although I'm not like directly a teacher. I am the substitute teacher, although I'm not the dance teacher because here's the thing, okay? I'm one of those actors that I can move on stage, but if I'm dancing, I am straight up Jack Black with ants in my pants. It is no one wants to pay me to teach their children to dance. All right. It's just how it is. I am not a triple threat. I am not a triple threat. I can act and I can sing and I can write. I cannot dance. So anyway, when I sub for the dance, we'll be learning about dance history and
I
dance
threw out
culture.
my knee trying to do a Beyonce move as the Cowardly Lion. So who you telling?
Okay, then. You know what? Hobbits aren't, see, we're not meant to dance like that.
Mm-mm.
We're not meant to dance like that. And that's okay. We have so many other wonderful characteristics. But I do get to work with kids. I get to work with families. I get to write. I get to direct. And I'm being paid for it. Like, this is my actual job. We are currently working on our Christmas show, which we are going to be doing as a live radio style show. I'm so excited about that. We are setting it in 1955. And so all of the works, all of the pieces of music and literature and everything that we're doing are pre-1955. And I'm doing a little extra research to make sure they're public domain because I want to do this right. And these kids are so excited. It's all still in the works, but I'm looking at having one of our students possibly sing Silent Night in its original German, because she's learning German. She is in 5th grade and she like speaks fluent German. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Right. So it has been a lot of fun. It has been, go ahead.
Just like, sorry, side nerd note. Have you seen the Silent Night thing with Doctor Who?
Yes.
Like the where they stopped fighing and the war thing? Yeah, so good. Right. I didn't know that was a real thing until Doctor Who, and then I was like, oh.
Yes. Like so much of that show is like legitimately historical. Like, I still can't really watch Vincent Van Gogh episode because it just
I also learned about apartheid from Doctor Who, but anyway.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, Doctor Who.
Thanks for all the stuff you didn't teach us in American
right?
schools.
Like, he's the ultimate like humanitarian educator.
Yeah.
I think Nine is my doctor, right? That's where I came in, and I've always been an Eccleston girl. I mean, I love them all, but got a special place.
If you haven't listened to it yet, he did new content for Doctor Who with Big Finish.
Did he?
So
I didn't know that.
Eccleston and Piper did new Doctor Who adventures together in audio.
I love that.
Full production, everything else.
And that is why I am so glad audio is coming back so big as a treasured medium, not just with podcasts, but like all this audiobooks and everything. I'm like, we're coming back to our our electronic roots, I guess, where we can sit there and just listen.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the goal of our Christmas show. I want someone to be able to come in and close their eyes and enjoy the show just as much as someone who's seeing it. Our kids are going to do their own sound effects. It's going to be good. I mean, the exception, of course, is going to be our little Nutcracker dancers. Like, you're going to have to see them to appreciate them because, come on, little 3-year-old,
yeah,
come on, like, I love it. I love it.
Big Finish does all the Doctor Who British stuff, and I mean, they've put out more audio content than Doctor Who has put out video content. Like, per capita.
How did I not know this? I did not know any of this. How did I not know this?
So
I'm knowing now, though.
Look up Doctor Who Big Finish audio. I want to say there's 8 volumes of River Song stories. There's David Tennant ones, there's Matt Smith ones, there's Capaldi ones, where they all come in and redo whole castings. So Big Finish does all the British stuff. Then I can't remember which one it is without graphic audio is what it's called. Graphic audio would do full cast acting versions of DC comic stories. And you know how many like characters in a DC story. So there was one of DC's big stories was called 52.
Yeah, I know that's right. Yeah.
Okay. There's a full cast graphic audio of 52 that is long enough that I'm talking, let's say, 24 to 48 CDs. Um, and so when my
Maybe
kids,
my husband will start reading if I get him audiobooks like that.
um, and when my kids and I went to the Grand Canyon, we started 52 on the drive and we would rotate an hour of 52, an hour of music. And it took us all the way to about the Grand Canyon and back to finish it. Um, but that like so there but there's tons of DC content and they just announced one of the bigger DC stories is about to happen for the first time in that. But also just and I'll shut up about this, but you just got me on an audio trail. And I know Neil Gaiman is, a hard topic right now.
Yeah.
But the Sandman audio is one of the best things I've
Is
ever
it?
listened to. David Tennant as Loki, Michael Sheen as Lucifer, Kat Dennings as Death, James McAvoy as Morpheus.
This
Uh,
is like, oh,
what's his name? The Watcher in Marvel cartoon right now. He's Commissioner Gordon in the last Batman movie.
Hello, how are you?
I know who you're talking about. I do.
But like, just it's a stacked cast of literally anybody you could imagine, and they did
It is
3
so-
volumes out of what would have been 4 volumes, and then they just kind of stopped. And they're about to do all of the Harry Potter books in big audio, and they just cast like every major British actor from like I think Hugh Laurie is Dumbledore, and Kit Harington is Flockhart.
Wow.
And they're just big names. Anyway, audio is wonderful. Go on.
No, I love it. I'm actually that's something that I have friends who want to read, which we'll talk about, I guess, my novel in a minute here. But they are those people that are on the go. I have a friend who's a doctor. She's like, I can't sit down and read books. And I'm like, I respect that. You are saving lives. So I'm looking into doing audio for my own novel. But I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But something that I want to talk about this summer experience we had here at camp is we had a theater camp this summer, and it was everything was in place before I was hired. So I really didn't have a huge, I didn't really contribute a lot to it, And there is a pilot program with Adventures in Odyssey, which is kind of for Christians, sort of like the original radio show.
Right.
And I know about but there's a lot of stuff going on with Dobson as well, since his passing on his influence.
Right.
But when I was younger, like I didn't grow up with Adventures in Odyssey, but my stepsister did. And we would kind of do the same thing. Like whenever we would take trips, or she would always have it on her radio at night, like before she fell asleep. And so I had some positive memories of just the radio show. And there is a young woman named Madeline Ware who lives out in Washington State. And she, among others, kind of got the idea, let's use this content for the stage, because I think it's something that you and I have talked about before. I can't remember, but Christian entertainment content is so hit or miss. It is very often, especially when you're talking about the performance type of art, it is so, I wouldn't even call it like B or C level. It's hard to say it without sounding disrespectful, but it's bad. It's bad. It's a lot of it is not done with excellence. It is not done with the same standards that, the entertainment industry would have for any other group of people. And we're kind of left with this, well, it's Christian, so you'll take it and you'll like it. Like it's safe for your family. You can feed this to your family.
It's gluten-free things. It's like,
yes.
Hey, it doesn't have to be good. You don't want gluten, you're gonna eat it.
That's exactly what it is.
That's Christian entertainment.
Don't feel that Adventures in Odyssey really fits that mold.
No.
I feel that it is entertaining and it is wholesome. And for the most part, at least the episodes that we have helped to adapt are not in your face. They are not preachy. The lessons are there to tease out. If you want to do a Bible study, if you want to do follow-up, it is all there. But if not, it's still something that the community can get a lot out of and also know that they can bring their kids to see. And so we had the opportunity to adapt two of the plays. One had been done previously, but one, we were the very, very, very first church to do it. So cool. For our younger kids, our elementary school kids, we did one that was based on a circus. And for our older kids, it was a mystery about a romance at a clock tower. And when I tell you that we went from auditions to full scale production in 5 days.
Shut up.
I did not. I will send you pictures. Like we have one woman who designs all of our sets and everything. And she came in with plastic tablecloths and she draped them like a circus tent. And she made an actual rocket that fit a kid into. It was actually her own son. That was one of the agreements. We could have him if he was the one that was in the rocket. She specified it, like made it to his body specs, and he actually can climb into this rocket. He was not shot out of the rocket. That was part of the plot, was that it failed. But this kid gets in the rocket. Like he's this giant helmet. I loved it. But these kids were amazing. A lot of them actually memorized their lines. Which is why in some ways it's so much better to work with kids than grownups, because like they just pick stuff up like that. And our older kids, like we actually had a kid come in who looks like Eugene Meltzner, like exactly. When I showed them the concept art, they're like, oh yeah. So this kid was getting cast regardless, but he was a wonderful actor and he was just great. So we're going to be doing it again next summer. I don't know what plays we're going to have developed, but I will be talking with Maddie and we're going to work together and we're going to do the whole thing again. And the best part was that our student roster right now, over 50% of the kids are new. Most of them came from camp. And that made my heart feel so huge because I got it was me. Week one, we actually were supposed to have like several interns and we had one. It was me and this one young lady named Paulina, who I love and I want her to come back. And she took the kids with non-speaking roles, and they were the acrobats and the dancers and the clowns. And I took the kids with speaking roles, and we sat down with these kids and worked them. We worked them so hard, but they produced a fully realized show with costumes and sound effects and everything in 4 days. For them, because their auditions were a whole day, they did it in 4 days. It was wonderful. It was a thrill. And these kids were so encouraged and felt so confident with their experience that they came back for more. And that's why we do what we do. And that's why I, as an actor, do what I do, because there is something to be said about a person who's confident in themselves and in their faith. And we put those two things together, like, that's when the world changes,
On camp, theater, and confident. Yeah. Have you seen A Week Away?
I have not.
Okay. I think
something I need to put on my calendar right now.
I would go ahead and jot this down. I think this will be something that you could knock out in a minute, and I think it'll genuinely improve the quality of your life.
Okay, I'll take it.
And it's not even something I desperately love, but I think it's going to fit your bubble so well. Netflix, 4 or 5 years ago, put out a movie called Camp A Week Away, and it is a High School Musical-esque movie about Christian summer camp.
And it's positive? I'm sorry. I'm used to a lot of not
the documentaries about the evil. No. Yeah. It is a High School Musical about Christian summer camp. It actually has Hollywood actors in it. And all of the music, it's a jukebox musical where all of the music is 90s Christian music. Oh my God.
Okay, date night with my husband. We are going to get pizza and popcorn and sit down and watch this.
So
because, I was raised on Toby Mac.
I'm telling you, they get off the bus to Great Adventure.
Oh my gosh.
But then have you ever seen Anchorman?
Yes, I'm familiar with it.
Okay, the guy who Todd Packer, who's
Yeah.
also, or no, Todd Packer's his office character, but the sport.
I know, I know.
He's the camp
I
director.
know from The Office. Yeah.
He's Todd Packer. He's the camp director. Like, so there's scenes where he's doing, because he's also in charge of the theatrical element of the summer camp. There's scenes where he's doing full Braveheart costume speeches. Anyway, it was one
And
of,
if you've ever done it, it's true. That's what we do.
but Camp a Week Away, it's one of my kids' favorite movies. They watch it on repeat. The music's, I mean, you know what the music is.
Yeah.
It did so well. Angel Network picked it up as a series.
Really?
There is a new, like, 8 to 10 episode Camp a Week Away summer camp musical TV series, and Todd Packer returns to be the director, even for the whole series. And but then you've got him doing different pop culture things as the theater director. But I think you would have a ball with it. Even if you just
That's
check
very
out.
my thing.
I've not watched the whole series, but I think you would have a ball with just go to camp, Netflix, Camp a Week Away. I think you'll be 3 minutes into it and be having the time of your life. So
Like, this is something I'll bring my God. Like, this is what we did back in the day, my children. Come sit with me. What did my kids say to me the other day? Like, generally they don't refer to us as like old people, but like something was like, oh mom, was that like, that was around in the 1900s? Like, were you? And I'm like, technically yes, I was. As an elder millennial, I was around in the 1900s. I'm very grateful we never got the like, did you write a dinosaur question or anything like that. So that's good. Although my kids right now are still kind of in their rocks and mineral phase, which I know every child goes through, some do not grow out of.
right.
And my husband found, he does a lot of, we've talked about this too. You know, he does a lot of trading, buying and selling with like old video games and stuff like that. And he came across this individual who I guess he was just had all this stuff to sell. And there was this tiny little emerald. And that's my younger son's birthstone. It was, I mean, it's a real one, but it's itty bitty. And he bought it for him. And this kid, like, mind blown. He's like, is this real? Like, we're like, yeah, it's not really worth a lot, but like, he like treasures it. It's like, it's a special box for him. So I don't know that he's going to be outgrowing that phase anytime soon. And that's cool. Because our set director went to school for geology.
Yep,
See, look,
everything
comes around.
It does.
Yeah. She does not have a degree in art, but I will send you pictures of her work and you will just, and she loves it. She absolutely loves it. And she's amazing. So, I think that's essentially all. I mean, there's tons more I could share on like that topic, but
it's been a good ride for you so far.
Yeah. I mean, we had some challenges, and I mean, it's not perfect, you know, it's still a job. But my instructors are wonderful with the kids, and the two ladies I work with that are sort of in charge of the community aspect of the building are unbelievable. And I have to shout out one of them. Her name is Taya, and she is our spreadsheet girl. She's my brain, and I would not be able to function without her. She thinks in spreadsheets, like she color codes everything. And I'm like, thank God for Christmas, girl, you were getting so many office supplies. And she's the kind of person that was like, yay. I love her. I need her. And I love that both of these women they're more business minded than I am. And so I can have these big, crazy, wild dreams. And instead of saying, okay, this is our budget, they say, how can we make that happen with what we have? And that alone, the fact that they want to see these things happen. They want to see these dreams. They want to see these kids come in. They want to see the community blessed. Like I work with wonderful people, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And they're funny too.
So outside of running an entire theatrical program at a school,
it's a small one.
Small. You also are an author.
Technically, yes.
You're an author, girl. Hush.
I'm an author. I'm technically unpublished. So I guess I have a manuscript rather than a novel, but,
you're published with me, if nothing else.
I am. I definitely am. And that is a very cool thing. I talk about that too. I'm proud of that. And
by the way, you are the books we've done together are like the hit with moms. Like, you have like no idea how often I'll get like not a angry mom, but like a mom who's just wandering around the Comic-Con looking like she's scared to touch things.
She's like, I should not be here. Why am I here?
That's literally the vibe. And then they'll see the Jesus booth, and then they're automatically like, oh, whew. But then they're like, what's this? And I'm like, oh, they're like, and like they're like it. He's like, not nerdy. I'm like, not nerdy. They're like, and like that's so like you make mom's days at Comic Cons. Just
And that makes my heart happy. That does. And I like too that those books are not traditional devotionals.
oh yeah,
And I mean, they serve a great purpose, and there's a lot of people that's what they need. But I love that they're not this little page of like, here's a prayer, here's a verse, your life is actually better than you think. And you're like, well, it's not always wrapped up that nice.
no.
Like there's a lot of things in the Bible and even within Jesus' story that are not wrapped up nice. We don't know what he did as a child. We don't know why Mary Magdalene was single. She was a wealthy woman, obviously. Why wasn't she married? We don't ever find that out. We never find the name of the woman who was at the well. We never find the name of the woman who had the hemorrhaging of blood. There's so many unknowns. And like it's hard to be okay with that because as humans, like we seek patterns, we seek resolution, but it's like we don't always get that.
No.
We're not guaranteed or promised that. And I like because the stories that you've shared and the way you've approached your writing about devotionals acknowledges that. And that's really important, especially for parents, because I think there's a lot of things I'm finding out that I'm like, I don't get a say in this, or this isn't going how I want it to because my child is his own person. They're their own kids. And I love that. And if knowing that I can contribute to a mom's peace, boom,
You're doing it.
That's what it is.
So in this process, you've been writing for what, 2 years?
I actually okay, this is my romanticy moment. This is my basic girl moment. Okay. My basic white girl moment.
Be all you want to be.
I'm so basic. Like right now I'm so cottagecore at this moment.
Cottagecore is a whole vibe though.
What's that?
So cottagecore is a whole vibe though.
It is. And I have been drinking dandelion tea. Okay. And coffee, but like dandelion tea. Okay. It's really good for your heart. Anyway. So I was introduced by a friend of mine who is not a Christian. But she and I have a very close relationship. She's one of the few Christians that I'm one of the few Christians that she trusts. And so that means a lot to me. And so she recommended this series to me called A Court of Thorns and Roses, also known as ACOTAR. Now it is not new. It came out in 2015. So it
takes a while for people to catch up though.
Yes. And especially since, Book Talk became a thing and it's all over that. I was like, okay, like I'll read it. Okay. And I read the first book and it really wasn't what I expected. And I liked it. I'm like, okay, like I want to know where this is going. And I'm not going to put any spoilers out there because, if your people are in the process, I'm not doing that. But I read the whole series it was less than a week. It was 8 days. I read the whole series in 8 days. And
gotta love it when you find something that just makes you click like that, right?
And here's the thing. It made me want to write again. And so for that, like I will always be thankful for Sarah J. Maas's influence, because I sat down after I finished that series. And of course I immediately started Throne of Glass after that. But I sat down and I came up with these characters. And initially they were very comedic. There was an elf who had allergies, and so they couldn't like be in nature. There was an orc who wanted to be a bard, like he wanted to be a minstrel, but he couldn't sing. And so these characters evolved from portraits and caricatures into these very human creatures and creations. And so the story kind of emerged, and the best way to describe it for me, it is romantasy. It's like cozy romantasy. It is not Lord of the Rings, because there is a place for that, and it is not in my Word documents because I can't. That's not my style of writing. But as this story kind of coalesced, I realized that it was not going to be what most people call a Christian novel. There is a lot of allegory in it, but it's not like Narnia allegory that is like, one for one allegory. Like Narnia is,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not like that. And in fact, I can't even market it as a Christian novel. It's not written for Christians. There is content that would be objectionable, but that's not why it's not written for Christians. It is written for a very, very specific niche group of Christians who grew up under the influence of toxic purity culture. And that's one of the reasons I think I'm not really getting any bites. No agents are interested. It is a very niche story. I'm aware of that. But I have so many friends that I know personally whose stories could very well have resulted in their own death because of toxic purity culture, because they got married young. They were told that if they just saved themselves, that God would give them the perfect husband. Like a lot of these lies that were perpetuated within the greater evangelical community in the 90s and early 2000s. And having seen the severe damage that so much of that caused to so many of my friends, I wanted to use my voice as an author to kind of fight back. And so the story has, it has that aspect to it. It has toxic masculinity. It has toxic patriarchy. It has characters questioning it. It has characters who were raised in it, who have no reason to think that it's not the right way to live. And I have my three female lead characters are very, very different versions of female strength. The main character in my first book, because yes, I already have it as a series. It's all planned out. There's 4 books in an anthology. The main character in the first book, she is a plus size mixed race woman, and she has a very gentle nature. She's very sweet. She's very giving. She's very loving. She's a healer. She's an apothecary. She's a baker. So she loves with food, and that is a very important aspect for me of many of the women in my life that I have admired it is their softness, because that's where their strength comes from. I have another character who is a half orc blacksmith. And so she kind of represents a more feral type strength that I see in a lot of women, especially when they're like defending their kids or defending things they care about. And my last character is she's a female elf, and she is a seer. And so she kind of represents that spiritual side of women that is both revered historically and it terrifies people. So she kind of has that mystic, otherworldly quality to her that femininity itself kind of possesses. So in creating these characters, of course, they become friends and they end up supporting each other. But something that was important to me was neurodivergent representation. So my elf character is autism coded, and she has panic attacks, and she speaks in a way that is not like the other characters. And I get into her head where, she's obsessed with the way things feel or the way things taste or the way things look. And I wanted to give her a very relatable personality for, people who are autistic or who are on the spectrum or who have sensory issues. And what was really important to me was she never gets like healed of these things. That is who she is. Her friends love her, they accept her, and they're the ones who change their communication style so she understands them. And like I haven't seen that in the world of fantasy or romantasy or anything like that. And that was important to me.
Good representation in that is can be so life changing. I don't think we've talked with life and everything else. Did I tell you about the priest that I met in Kentucky?
I do not recall hearing about a Kentucky priest. No, I do not, sir.
So I'm at a Comic-Con in Kentucky, and there's a dude in the front row of Geek Church who is dressed in a priest outfit, but it looks more like Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like it looks like Toph's colors,
Okay.
like the green and the vibe.
I'm seeing it. Yeah. Okay.
And I thought dude's cosplaying. Okay, whatever. Nope, he's a legit priest of a specific order, and that he
It's
got
not the order of bossing, say.
no,
Were
it's
you
not Bossing
sure?
Say. There is no war
Okay.
though.
Okay.
Um, um, but he like had the coolest story of like that he got closer to God because of the autistic depiction of Matthew in The Chosen.
That's awesome.
He said that seeing the Matthew depiction of autism made him actually get more comfortable, helped him with diagnosis, and
So
actually
cute.
spurred his story on. And so in the like if the audio of the Geek Church service, you can hear him stand up and tell this story. And like I get and like I just thought it was so neat. So then later on, I'm telling his story, and another dude who uh was questioning about his placement in the spectrum at
Mhm.
another show in North Carolina heard that podcast and got to be part of the journey of him getting diagnosed and how he's living. And like it's literally just saying a little bit of good representation has like dominoed through people's lives.
Yeah.
So it can be
And
pretty strong.
and it was important for me to show a woman with that because her entire identity, she masks her entire like young adult life, and she is the good daughter, and she is the the ideal in her community. She has a certain look to her, but she's obedient, she's quiet, she is all these things, and it's because she's spending so much of her energy masking who she is. And as you see, she no spoilers, but she really comes into her own, later on as she realizes that she was called for a purpose and it's not what her community wants her to be.
Mhm.
And that's because she's got to make a decision. Like, do I go with community standards or I do with what I believe my God is telling me to do? And she ends up smashing the patriarchy really good. But I love her. I love her character. I actually spoke with. Hi again, Deb.
Hi.
Did you find a work? Did you find a work or a job to do?
No, but should I just drop this stuff? I'll just drop it on this desk.
Yeah, put it on the main desk and they can distribute it on Monday. I was talking about my
Smashing the patriarchy real good.
patriarchy. I actually talked with some people who regularly experience anxiety and panic attacks because I wanted like authenticity in her experience, and I was given the okay. So I want to do it in a loving way, but I want to do it in a visceral way. So there's one instance where she's like most elves, she's very sensitive to scent. And she's overwhelmed. She's got to find one particular scent that is comforting to her, just like grounding, like we do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 thing, with like our kids or ourselves. Find something you can touch, find something you can see, that you can smell. And she has to go through that process in order just to, come back to her baseline. And, without spoiling a whole lot, she was raised in a very fundamentalist type organization that believed that their God and their purity of blood is what sort of sets them apart and makes them more valuable elves than the rest of the people in this society. And then you come to find that there's also orcs that feel this way, and there's dwarves that feel this way, there's humans that feel this way. So this novel has been rejected 159 times by 159 different agents. And
59.
159.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is what I'm thinking. I want to get to 200 just so when I self-publish, I can say, please read this. This is the novel that 200 people refused to read. Actually, that's not true. I did have one manuscript request. It wasn't what she wanted in the end, but 199 people refused to read this. Honestly, I do think part of the problem is it's very niche, and I'm aware of that. Like, as you're an agent, like you want to try to find a book that's going to make money. And the way I'm marketing it, it's not. And I'm not worried about that. I just want to get it out there because I think that it's going to be able to help a lot of people begin the healing process, not just women, but men too. And I want that for people. And I think it can be done. And it's a very quirky, I have a lot of quirky characters. That orcish bard, I kept him and he's still in my story. And he's kind of the everyman character. Like, he says the things that like we as people think, but the rest of the characters don't say. And I love him. He's currently my favorite character. I love him. He's my boy. But yeah, I wrote it. It's called the Misfit Guild. And I have made a decision. And I guess since this is going to be now, like, you're going to post this, so it's like a real thing in the world now. If I don't get representation by the end of this year, I will be releasing it as a self-published piece. The reason I didn't want to do that initially is because of the work involved. Because look, I don't like filming content. Like, I don't like any of that stuff. And I know that if you're self-publishing, like, you got to do that. You got to market yourself. And I just did not want to do that. But I'm starting to realize that just might be part of my labor of love to get this out there to help people. So you heard it here first on Faith and Fandom podcast. If by the end of November, I don't hear anything, we are going out and we are going to be the best Christmas gift you could possibly give someone who was raised in the toxic patriarchy culture of the 1990s for Christmas. I do need a cover artist though, so I'm still looking for that. But it has been professionally edited, so that's a good thing.
How was that process for you?
Paid money for that. Oh my gosh, it's been a very healing process, and it's been very. Oh
no, just specifically like the editing process. How'd that?
Oh, the editing process. Oh, I love my editor. Oh my gosh, she's amazing. She was able to appreciate my voice. And she was able to help me edit things for clarity that didn't take the narrative voice away.
Okay.
And that's important because I think speaking as a person who has done editing before, it's really easy to make it sound like the way we want it to sound. But she was really good at that. She found a lot of my like overused words. Yeah. There's a lot of sighing apparently in my books. There's a lot of people sighing a lot in my books. And tensing. They all tense a lot. They tense and they sigh. But she did a great job of helping me. She also was really, really good at picking out those moments where the story didn't quite make sense. Like, she's like, I know this was edited earlier before you gave it to me because you're referencing something that isn't there anymore. She was really good at that. And I loved working with her. She was always on time. She was always respectful with all of her feedback, which, let's be honest, as writers, we have like the most tender skin. What do you mean it wasn't the best thing that you've ever read in your entire life? I worked so hard on it. She's fantastic. Her name is Nevi Gain. And I would recommend her to anyone because she's been lovely to me, and I will be using her again in the future. So that was a good experience, and I found her online.
That's where all the cool people are. Yes. So how's this process been for you, as you were about to say? Like,
oh yeah, like I said, I wanted to kind of push my own boundaries. For example, there is sexual content in the book. It is limited. And for me personally, it is between married couples. That's what I felt comfortable writing. But I wanted to write these scenes because I grew up believing that sex was bad and dangerous. And the scenes that I have written are not just about the act. They are about connection. They are about romantic love. They are about sacrifice, enjoyment, all these things that like we weren't taught about that aspect of humanity and God's design for humanity. But I talk a lot about the dangers of fundamentalism. And in the process, during this process was a lot of my deconstruction. And I was told by a person I very much admire that what I was doing was not deconstruction, but more like renovation. And that changed everything. Because I know deconstruction is looked at as like a progressive thing, and it's bad, and it means you're really just trying to make the Bible say what you want it to say. And I mean, that's what I'm hearing from a lot of my more conservative friends. But for me, it was a way of getting rid of all of the noise and all the things that are crowding Jesus out, and actually going back to the foundation, which is just Jesus. And even though this book does not have that direct allegory between, like, you know, a god or goddess directly representing Jesus, there is the aspect of peace and of doing good that the one God sort of exemplifies. And his followers choose to turn him into a weapon. And with that weapon, they decide to spread their own version of his worship. And I mean, that's not, you know, a contemporary issue or anything like that, as we well know, but being able to have that in my hands and turn that ultimately into something good has been very therapeutic for me. I have a lot of friends who are very scared right now of the state of the country. And if I can't do anything for them, and that's not to say I can't, but if I can't do as much as I want to help them, I am creating this world where they are vindicated and they do come out on top. And, you know, they're going to be able to survive in spite of what this God has been turned into. And I have another character who was raised in this organization and has absolutely no reason to think that there's anything wrong. And it is only when his betrothed leaves him that he starts to think, is there maybe something more to life than what I've been taught and how I've been taught? And I know all that is very deep, and I keep saying it's like a cozy romantasy, and it is still. But, you know, there's a lot of scenes that take place with food. Therefore, it is cozy, right? There's a lot of baking and muffins involved.
Best sales pitch ever.
There's a lot of tea being drunk, and there's a lot of scones and muffins being eaten, so it's cozy. No, it is. And I think like the intimacy of friendship is there. I wanted to focus a lot on female friendships and familial relationships. I have my orc bard and the orc blacksmith are siblings, and they have a healthy relationship. And I mean, you could see that from the very beginning. Like, I'm not spoiling anything, but I loved exploring their dynamic because he's much younger than she is. He's almost 10 years younger than her. And, you know, she has this sort of maternal quality with him, but, well, anyway, I'll send you a copy. It was fun to explore that because I don't have any older siblings, and just to sort of get into her head about how she might feel about what her little brother is doing or what he's saying or how he's acting it's been fun. And also I've never been the youngest sibling either. So getting into his head and trying to think in terms of like an 18-year-old boy, that's been fun too. That's been a lot of fun. Which exactly is why he's my favorite. I want to know that. I want to meet this kid in real life. Like, I want to meet this kid in real life and like be his mentor because he's a cool kid. He's cool. He's probably what I would have been if I'd been born a boy.
Okay.
That makes him sound like less cool, but you know.
So what does your page count run at, like, roughly?
Word count is 101,000.
Wow. Okay.
Which that's really, to be honest, for a debut novel in romantasy, that's not too far out of the range. Typically it's like 70 to 90-ish. And this is after like multiple edits, multiple chops. I had to take out, oh my gosh, I had to take out so many plot twists and move them into like the second novel, which is about a fifth of the way done right now. I would say like a fifth or a quarter of the way done. Because it was just too much. I wasn't able to develop my characters. And that was really important to me because this story is way more character driven than plot driven. And I think that's what makes it cozy. Because even though, we learn about Sam, we learn about Frodo, we don't learn really about them as much as we learn about their journey. I think a lot of times when we talk about Lord of the Rings, but this is way more, we get into our characters' heads a lot. And sometimes it's not a very pretty place. But
on just a side note of cozy and hobbits, do you play the Switch or anything? Do you have a Switch? Do your boys?
You're going to tell me I think you're going to tell me what you're thinking. Oh, you're going to talk about Plum Grove?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I was just going to recommend Echoes of Plum Grove. Because that is cozy.
Tales of the Shire.
No!
Now, I'm going to say, it is not a perfect game.
That's okay. I'm not a perfect hobbit. I wear shoes.
They released like a month and a half ago a cottagecore cozy not adventure game. It's basically Animal Crossing for hobbits, where you are dumped in a new shire and you're buying a shire home and you have to build relationships with the community.
Okay, so that's actually exactly Plum Grove. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it's not, obviously it's a different,
but this
it's
is
the same concept.
Yeah, like you meet Gandalf at the beginning. Like it's and so you have to like harvest like
you have to be a hobbit.
You have to be a hobbit and you have to prepare a special meal and invite people to meals to build relationships, and then you exchange friendship.
Yeah, it's cozy.
So it's a cozy now. It's in terms of game engines, it's not the smoothest. There can be glitches and stuff like that, but it's one of my daughter's favorite games. And it's new. It's on everything. It's not expensive, but like she just we did a 3-hour road trip to a con, and she just spent the whole time like decorating her hobbit hole, and making meals. So you might have fun.
Well, I named my village the Shire, in Animal Crossing, and our flag is the J.R.R. Tolkien logo.
I need to go check on my island.
I know. I got a lot of cockroaches. There are probably cockroaches in other people's houses. That's how bad it is.
That's rough.
No. No, I will definitely that sounds like something I'd really enjoy, because Echoes of the Plum Grove it's the same kind of game. It's like Stardew Valley meets Animal Crossing, but the situation is you are a colonial person. They're never explicit that it's England and America. It's kind of vague, but it's the same thing. You have this cute little town and you're the farmer. You're new farmer, and you have to you have to make friends. But the cool thing is you can marry an NPC in the game. You can have children, and when your character dies, you can play as the child. So it's an interesting generational game.
Yeah.
So you inherit all the stuff, but you still have to restart your social status with every character. It's kind of cool. My older son asked if I could change the settings so that I couldn't die. And I was like, buddy, that's part of the game. And he's like, but I will be very upset if you die. So I started a new game where I will die, and I'm changing the old one so that I can't die for him.
Oh.
Because I'm a fantastic mom, right? Meanwhile, my children have eaten pizza for how many nights in a row? Pizza or cereal. But that's okay, right?
They're not hungry.
They're being fed.
That's it.
They're being fed. They know they are loved. That is important. Although I tell them a lot. I said, my job as your parent is not to make you happy. My job is to make sure that you are safe, you are fed, you are clothed, and you go to school. So that is my job as a parent. You being happy is a bonus. They don't really like it when I say that.
No.
Oh, of course, I do love to make them happy too. That's why they have 45 Minecraft Lego sets. Okay.
That's a mortgage.
I have to tell you something. All right. They had Lego Mario. Okay. Lego Mario was adorable and it was fantastic, and the concept was wonderful. Lego Mario is in so many pieces right now. He will never be resurrected. It will take the coming of Christ to put all that back together again. But they're Minecraft sets. Every single one of them is pristine. They have not lost a single piece. They are all together. They are organized. I don't understand it. Because they seriously, they have 45 is exaggerating. They probably have about 25 or 30 sets. the little ones, the big ones, and they're all pristine. And they play with them. Like they're not on a shelf. Like they play with them, but then they like put them back together.
Yeah, I don't play with Legos. I don't even understand that. Like, I've got a Lego Millennium Falcon, a Lego TARDIS, and
This is my Lego roses that
I saw those online. Like, those are so pretty. And
my go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I've also got the Lego Office set, but it's not done. I don't
That was
have
put
room to put it.
together. My husband bought it for me, but my youngest and the daughter of the woman I mentioned earlier, they put those together for me. So that is from Rhett and Ari. They put them together, and that's why they're special. But hold on, I gotta show you this. Hold on. Yeah, again, this is my office too. So I have a lot of Lego. We have the Lego house that apparently you can change the seasons. So right now it's in summer, but we have Lego. That's no Lego Jesus, but it's Jesus. So this is my older son, and this is my younger son. There are 4 cats in here. This is my husband mowing the grass, and my children put me inside the house reading. I was reading a book. That one is me.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep. I think there's a cat on the roof somewhere too. Authentic.
So to ask you this, and I guess we'll kind of wrap up with this question. For you, for this book,
Yes.
what's the definition of success for this book's existence?
Honestly, it's exactly what you told me about those moms at the conventions, that someone will come up to me and say, like, I am beginning the healing process because of this, or I feel seen because no one else has understood my experience. That's ultimately what I want to do. I want to create visibility to these women and men that are still in unhealthy and unsafe relationships because of what they learned in the 1990s about virginity and purity and how their value was equated with their sexual experience or lack thereof. And I hate that we were told that we were chewed up pieces of gum. I hate that we were told that we were dirty $10 bills. Like all these things that became what we were afraid to become. And we were so afraid of becoming that in a lot of ways we left our personalities and our own dreams and desires behind just to pursue not being that dirty or bad individual. I'm very fortunate. I did not have that experience, but way too many people have. And so that group of people I am targeting, and I want them to know that they can heal, that Jesus does love them, and that their value is not based on what they have done with their bodies or what has been done to their bodies. That's really important to me.
That's awesome.
And there's scones.
And scones. Hold on. I need to know if you know this. Have you heard the peach scone song?
No.
Okay.
Every time I talk to you, you tell me like 9,000 things that I didn't even know existed. And like now I have a whole new direction for my life.
That's why we can't be real world friends.
I know. We would,
because
we never get anything done.
No. So there's an artist called Hobo Johnson.
Okay.
He's a grungy little kid who did an NPR contest and kind of blew up with that. He does there's a song called the Peach Scone Song, and it's adorable, but it's a song about a kid who's trying to confess his unrequited love for a girl who's in a toxic relationship. But every time he gets to the point of telling her he loves her, he says he loves scones. Says, I love the thought of being with you, or maybe it's the thought of not being so alone. He's like, yeah, I really love these scones. And it's just like, and it's like, it's very speaky, back and forthy, theatrical.
That's fun.
But just look at Hobo Johnson, the Scone Song. It's delightful.
Because now that we've talking about it, like I don't know when I'm going to go find a scone. Like, I'm not going to Starbucks right now. I need to go find a scone. I used to bake them in college. I was so good. I
Panera's
was so
corporate
good.
scones, but like I miss good scones. Um, I also watched Father Brown for the first two seasons, and I'd never seen Father Brown before,
That's
but
good stuff.
they added the first two seasons to Max, and so it's like the award-winning scones from early on.
See, like that was the original cozy core stuff. Like the little tiny old person in a little vicarage
Yeah,
where, there may be a little bit of romance, but mostly it's solving murders over scones.
yeah.
Like that's it, my
I
friend.
there
That
was
is it.
definitely a healing vibe to Father Brown, and I was so sad when only 2 of 13 seasons was on Max. So I was like, I hate you, Brett Box. Um, so moving forward, if people wanted to check out stuff that you have on, okay, let me also say this. Um, if or when or however your stuff moves forward, if you have to self-publish, like if that's the route you go, I think it would be a really great idea. And I'm sure you've done all your thinking. If you did a full cozy visual set, background placement, whatever, and read a chapter of your stuff per week on TikTok.
That's the plan.
Yeah. And because a couple weeks in, people are going to be like chomping at the bit. But like, okay, just do your thing, man. I'm hoping it works out
No, no,
well.
no, I definitely appreciate that. Um, I I have one more thing that I wanted to say. Oh, so in the future, this is not set in stone, but Impact School of the Arts will be releasing a podcast. So maybe we can hang out on your network, but I will be recycling some of my retrofitted things, not a lot, but we'll primarily be doing what you are doing with Faith and Fandom, except we'll be looking specifically at the fine arts. So we will be discussing music. We will be discussing plays, theater. We will be talking about artistic movements and, like the highfalutin stuff, but it'll be through a lens of faith. Our working title, which has not been finalized, I'm looking at Disciple in the Mezzanine, and our like catchphrase or whatever, like line is seeing art through the lens of faith.
That also sounds like a Brad Meltzer novel.
Right, doesn't it? I still can't get over the fact that he writes the little, like the Xavier Riddle stuff too. You know what I mean? Like, I love PBS Kids.
Did
Love it.
my first book of his outside of like the stuff that because he wrote a lot of great comic books too. Like he wrote a lot of good Justice League and stuff.
Like, there's not a lot of authors as versatile as he is. Seriously.
The Book of Lies. Did you ever read that or see that?
No, I need to
Okay.
put that on my list now.
I've got an autographed hardback of it over somewhere here. I've got a great Final Crisis quote where I actually had a graded comic book and had him sign the hard plastic of it where Batman says anyway, it's a great Batman quote. But I had him write the whole quote out. He's like, so he had to look it up because he couldn't remember it. But the Book of Lies it came after he wrote one of the greatest comic books of all time, which is called Identity Crisis. And so they started adding promos to his new book at the end of Identity Crisis and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
This is the sales pitch for the Book of Lies. In the Bible, Cain killed his brother Abel. That murder weapon was never found. In 19XYZ, 50, 40, 30, whatever, the creator of Superman's father was murdered. That weapon was never found. And this is a true story. And it says these two murders are now going to collide.
Okay, I need to go to the library today. I'm going to the library
And it
today.
literally traces Abel's murder to the murder of Superman's co-creator. And here's one of the cool things is that part of it is it visiting the home that Superman was created in, because like there was like stuff where literally like some of the wallpaper was made of old comic sheets that were whatever. He used this book to renovate that house and have it made a historical marker and to like preserve to preserve the that house as a historical thing. And then when they did the Superman movie premiere this summer, him and the granddaughter of the Superman creator were there together.
Why don't more people in power do stuff like this?
I don't know, man. It was so freaking great. So I love Meltzer for a lot of things, and yeah, it was just cool. Uh, if people want to check out stuff that you've already done or are doing, what would you recommend them to do until they can check out what's next?
I do have a couple seasons of the Retrofitted podcast, which is still where you can get that wherever, but a more family friendly option that is still kind of geeky. I am also a book fairy. I am a huge advocate for kids literacy. And so I'm Begonia Bree, the book fairy. And I actually do have BB the book fairy fairy tales. They are traditional stories from around the world that I have adapted for a young audience. And that is also a podcast that's available wherever. And I don't know how many episodes, but there's at least 6 or 7 stories. Some of them are in parts. Most of them are 10 minutes. So I figure they're kind of like bedtime story segments. So you can have your 10 minutes of that before you go to bed. Next night, you hear a little bit more. My tiny baby itty bitty spoiler for the first one, it's called Domingo's Cat, and it is a Brazilian story. The cat in my story is based on my princess Zelda May Peach, my beautiful orange girl cat who hates me and only likes my sons. So I have those. And also, if you would like to follow what is going on at the School of the Arts, we are, Impact School of the Arts. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We are not on TikTok yet. I don't know if I want to expose the kids to that just yet because I got a lot of littles in my school, and I'm not ready for that. Yeah, that's about it. I will share information with you as we go forward with my novel, but it will be out one way or another by next year. And I have put that into the universe now. It will happen. I'm obligated now as a person with ADHD. I said it. Now someone has to hold me accountable for it. I vote for you. You have to do it now. I will check in on you.
I am doing a novel, but it's nowhere near the effort you're doing. Because I've never, outside of writing like one comic or a couple comic books, like I've not done fiction. Like mine's always analysis, but I played my
first. That's important and that's valuable, and it's also entertaining. I think people forget that can be entertaining too. It definitely is.
It can be
just as much as fiction.
I did my first D&D campaign this year, and I'm taking the characters we created and novelizing the journey we went on with enough significant changes that Wizards of the Coast can't come after me. But like it's been good. Just like I'm only 10 chapters deep, so it's not like far, but like it's awesome. It's been a good experience, and it just makes the memories more alive. But like the first 9 chapters are stuff that nobody in our campaign ever saw or anything. It's just like background.
Your backstory, yeah, I love that. My one friend, my primary beta reader, she is my real-time beta reader. Like I would send her scenes as I wrote them. She told me that my novel is if you were to take D&D and cross it with Parks and Rec. So that's a great marketing line. I would say it's pretty accurate for the personalities involved. That's completely true.
Nice.
I love that you're doing that though, because I kind of did the opposite. Where like we're creating characters right now for our first campaign, my family, and I based my character on the one I created for my novel. And my son just wanted whatever he could have be a dragon, my older son, and my younger one is a dwarf barbarian. He also plays one in D&D. There you go.
That's awesome.
There's a reason we only had 2 children. There's a reason. There's several reasons actually. Most of them medical, but there's a reason.
So we'll have all your links up that you share with me, and we'll be checking back in with you again. Thanks for taking all this time to talk and share. And for everybody else that's out there, follow along to see where Rebecca's journey is going with this. And if you want to check out other podcasts, you can head over to the Love Thy Nerd Podcast Network and see that. If you want to see some of the stuff Rebecca and I have worked on together, we did The Balance, Living Between Mary and Martha. We co-wrote that. We also co-wrote That's What She Said, which is a look at 5 different women in the Bible who changed their surroundings by speaking up. And you also did the cover for that.
It was Canva. All right. But it was
Listen,
fun.
hey, Canva's Canva, man. And then you also edited Bite Size. So
Yes.
all the things. And we've got not several. We've got podcasts together too. From back when Hamilton was new and relevant.
Oh my gosh. That makes me
which is
really
funny because it's in theaters right now. So
I know. I went to a new restaurant the other day out here. And this young lady had the Burr quote that is on my desk right now. Like, I am the one thing I can control. And I looked at it, I'm like, is that from Hamilton? She's like, you were the first person to actually know what it is. And I'm like, how? And then she introduced me and gave me a coupon for a free sub. So that was pretty cool.
Listen.
Thanks, Katie.
Theater quotes providing subs. That's what life is right there.
Nourishment.
Well, thank you all for listening, for watching, and make sure you check out more and have a great day.
Thank you, Pastor Hector. Thank you so much.